Hi all. Right, welcome back. Carrier Battle Philippine C. Just the comprehensive example of play that's in the playbook. This is part two. I wasn't sure I was going to come back tonight, but yeah, I'm kind of. That's annoying, that noise, isn't it? It's when I lean on the table. Yeah. I've not watched back in the recording yet. If it's really bad, I might need to do something about it. Not sure what, but. Right, anyway, okay, so we got things started, we got our search plans out, and yeah, well, I mean, we're just following along with us, so let's just push on. I think that's where I left it. Yeah, I left it there. This concludes the first action phase. The situation is shown in figure 4. Right, okay. So there must have been nothing more to do in the rest of the sequence of play then. Let's have a look at that. Yeah, so it said it was the end of the action phase, so we did go through that hangar to from service, and I think we've done a bit of that, didn't we? We didn't land anything. And then, yeah, the rest of the stuff, this is if we had the air-to-air combat, Japanese air attack segment, US air attack segment, clear inoperative flight decks, clear deck crashes. I'm not quite sure about them. But we've had none of that anyway. You can see it gets to advanced phase marker. So what we do is advance that onto phase 2 and then move that back up to the beginning of that, which is move all air raids. And what I say, we've still not got any more air raids, so we roll for mission movement. I think that's going to be the first part, and then we draw chits. Oh, hang on. No, because we don't go back up to the top, do we? Yeah. Okay, so I'm right. We roll for mission movement. I think that's the next phase, so hang on. Yeah, so it is indeed. So we make a new roll for mission movement. The die roll was 7. Okay, so I'll just put that dice back out with a 7. The first jet drawn is for 4C. So again, we're just drawing out the cup here again. And we would be doing it randomly, obviously. So what was it? 4C. Okay. Right, you see, it is just drawing the 1 this time, and I think that's how you should do it, just in case you get some information that might sway you. Because let's just say we drew the US move right now, and if we drew all 3 chats and found out that one of the forces was going to move maybe or something, and we know what number it's going to move on because we've already rolled the die, so you can see how it could give you some information that you're not really entitled to. So the first jet drawn is 4C, which is located in hex 1515. On the 5:30 turn, this is too far away to attempt a strike. Again, it has to be, what did we say? Well, that is on the play raids. I think it's six hexes away, isn't it? It's not that one. Yeah, I think it's that we need. Range. Oh no, there, yeah. So maximum range is 5 there. Whereas if you got up to these times in the morning, you've got a range of 12. But at the moment, probably because it's still dark or whatever, or early morning. So it's still it's still the 5:30 turn because it's just the second phase. So the range is 5, and it was 4C. So we'll just glancing at it around, bringing it down. Yeah, I'm 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He's actually 8 hexes away. So this is too far away to attempt to strike. Force moves 1 hex by mission movement. Under a roll of 7, it moves 1 hex due east to 1514. Note that chits are executed 1 at a time in the order they are drawn. Yeah. So we've done that this time, although the first time they done it, they laid them all 3 of them out, but I don't know. I'm drawing 3, but I should just draw 1 at a time and deal with it. Okay. Yeah, so 4C is there. like I say, is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 away. So it's too far away to launch a raid. So yeah, so we can't do that. And then he's going to move. He's rolled a 7. Where's the compass? Right, it's a way back. It's a way back here. So a 5 to 8 is that way. We rolled a 7, so that's where he's going to go, that way, 1 hex. That's 1, 5, 1, 4, like it says. Carrying on. The second chit drawn is for US subs. So, okay, let's get that out. So that's that one. So that's what was drawn next. So we keep each submarine where it is. They would need to be in the same hex to attempt contact, so we're done with subs for now. Okay. So what it's saying is, we're just going to leave that, where did I put that 4C? Yeah. We're going to leave that, leave the subs where they are. They need to be in the same hex as a force to be able to do anything. So they're here, 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 and here. I mean, yes, we could move this one. What would be better is if 4C next turn moves into there. But the thing is, 4C might move into there. So if we sort of say, well, we'll move into there and he'll move in beside us, he might not. He might move that way. So we're better waiting to see where he moves. And then, on saying that, you do need to draw the chit again, the sub chit again, which is... But then 4C is not going to move again till its marker's back in the cup. So anyway, it leaves them where they are. And then, so the third chit drawn is the second action phase... in the second action phase is Guam. Okay, not so good then. So that one's the third chit. This is ill luck, as our fighters haven't had time to get there. Consulting the Japanese air raid generation table, we see that a raid can be launched on the 5:30 turn at a range of at most 5 hexes. We are within that range of Guam. There is a -3 modifier for the raid generation on this turn. There is also a +2 modifier for a 4 hex distance from the launch point. Rolling for Guam, we roll an 8. So a raid occurs. Right, let's kind of break that down then. Okay, so there's the Guam chit drawn. There's Guam there. There's a task force there. You can see it's only 1, 2, 3, 4 hexes away. So when we check for a raid, again, we're using this chart. So it's a 5:30 turn. So the maximum range is 5. Well, we are 4. There's 4 hexes away. So that does apply. So we can roll for this. Modifiers are a -3 for it being 5:30 in the morning. So there's a -3 to start with because it's like early morning. However, because it's only 4 hexes away, there's a +2 modifier there. So the -3 +2 is a -1. And what was it we rolled? We rolled an 8, and tells you there a 4 or less is no attack, a 5 or more is an attack. An 8 with a -1 would be 7. So they are going to attack. Yeah, plus range, game turn modifier. Yeah, that's a game turn modifier. And that's a range modifier. -2 air raid from Guam. If US fighters were in the hex, yeah, that's the thing. If we had got across there and got our US fighters in that hex, we would have got this extra -2 modifier to sort of maybe not allow him to carry out this raid. However, he's got a successful raid, so it carries on. We generate the raid strength using the air raid strength table, and that is this here, isn't it? No, it's not. Right, hang on. Let's just read. Let's just not guess about things, Grant. So level 3 to 4 forces in Guam. Right, okay. Where's that then? Right, I'm not looking at the right thing, I don't think. Right, okay, I was looking at the wrong bit. But that's the whole point of doing this, is to try and get me to understand this. I mean, there's a lot. There's, I don't know, all these player aids have got a front and a back. There's about 5 or 6 of them, I think. So air raid strength level 3 to 4 forces and Guam. So that's what we were looking for. Guam's air value, a measure of its known air strength, is 7 at the start of this scenario. For naval forces, this value is initially unknown and develops through the play. There's an option rule making it initially unknown for Guam as well and allowing it to vary considerably. Right, so rolling on the 7 column, we roll a 10. So we're rolling on the 7. Does it tell you? Where does it tell you that they start off with 7 then? It must tell you the start of the scenario. It tells you the start of the scenario, so my guess is if I look, well, let's have a look. Okay, it took me a while to find it, but there you go, there's scenario 6, which is the Battle of 19th of June. That's the first main scenario. And in step 7 there, we've got place the Guam air value in the 7 space of the general records track. So in actual fact, there must be yeah, I don't know where that is, but let's not worry about it too much. So that should be in the 7 space, and that's what it should be for this, and that's why they've said it was 7. But across the page here, it does tell you that there's a variable Guam air value. So this is a sort of variable option. With this option, you do not place a Guam air value marker. Instead, you determine initial value the first time Guam launches a raid, roll a die, and consult the following table. So you could get quite a big difference, you know. Yeah, I mean, if you rolled a 10, you get a value of 30. So, but we're obviously just sticking by this example I played just now. Not that I don't think I'd be using that variable option anyway when I start playing it. I'll just keep it at 7, I think. So rolling on the 7 column, we roll a 10, which results in a raid strength of 7. At this point, we don't know how many are fighters and how many are attack planes. We just take out 7 land air points and place them in the centre of the Guam raid box. See map sheet. So there we were rolling on the 7, we rolled a 10, and we got a 7 as a result. So yeah, so we need 7, and these are land air, which I'm going to have to go and get out, and the only ones I had out were naval air before. So give me a second. So there's the Guam air raid box, and like it says, we don't know how many are fighters and how many are bombers. Well, attack planes, fighters and attack planes. So I've got a total of 7 here. I've got 3 2s and a 1. It doesn't matter how you do that, because you can use these. You can just change these up as need be. So I'll just put them in the middle there until we find out which is which, and then obviously the fighters go in there and the attack planes go in there. So we carry on. Now we determine where to place the raid. This will represent the place where TF-58 first sights the incoming planes. If our planes had reached Guam in time, we would have picked up the raid right in the Guam hex. No such luck today. So consulting the intercept range table, let's just get that table out. So consulting the intercept range table, roll a 1 for a result of 2 hexes distant. So that table is down here, intercept range table. So we rolled a 1. There's a couple of modifiers there. I'm guessing that's some special rule, 24.2. I'm not using that. On dusk we would get a -1. Dusk doesn't kick in until 1850 in the day, later on in the day. So we rolled a 1. So the range is going to be 2, like it says. There are 3 hexes which qualify. We choose randomly, and the raid ends up being placed in hex 1506. Okay, that's interesting as well. So 1506. Okay, I was hunting about the counters in this game. I mean, there's a lot. I used the tray. I've got a tray set up, but I really didn't have a clue how to organise them all. And I've ended up putting some in another smaller tray, and of course you put some in chit draw cups, you know. I think this would probably benefit from... Yeah, I don't see I would have harm in using a counter tray, but I think a lot of the counters could just come out of baggies and put into the cups and whatever. But anyway, I guess it's the same as every kind of word game like this with loads of counters. It takes you a while to understand where the counters all should be organised. So yeah, and I found this is the counter I'm looking for, Guam Air Raid. But while I was there, I also found it was beside that. That's the air value one. So that should have been put, not that it was said to be done in this example, but it should go in the 7 point up there. And obviously if you were playing with that variation, you would put it in a different place. So the Guam Air Raid, yeah, so it's going here, and the roll was 2. No, it was going to be 2 range. So that's 2 away from our task force. So what it's saying is 1, 2, it could go here, here, or here, couldn't it? Was it a choice of 3? There are 3 hexes which qualify. So yeah, there are 2 away between Guam and there. 1, 2, 1, 2, and 1, 2. These 3 hexes, 1406, 1506, and 1607. We rolled randomly and got 1506, so that's where the air raid would go. But it was interesting to see that, I can take that away, that was the chit draw at the cup. That was randomised rather than getting placed, which makes sense, because if we've got an intercept raid there, if we had been able to choose where it goes, we probably would have picked one of these 2 so that we're adjacent to it. Whereas if it went there, we are then 2 hexes away from that. So that does make sense that it has to be randomised. So that's where that goes. It carries on. We place a Guam raid counter in that hex. This is the same basic procedure that will be followed for all Japanese air raids, albeit there are some additional considerations when those raids are being launched from carriers. Okay. Right, so moving on. Still 5:30, action phase 2. This is us moved into US air operations. Right, I won't bring us back over across here, but US air movement, yeah, we've nothing to move, have we? Oh no, have we not got? Why is it skipped by air movement segment? Oh, okay. I'm just not... Right, sorry, phone interruption again. Yeah, I guess I just looked at US air operations there and thought it was the air operations segment, but I should have read on. It's maybe just the way it's calling it when it is into our side of things. But now comes the US air movement segment, which is what I thought it had jumped past. We want to move both our intercept missions to intercept the raiders from Guam, currently located in hex 1506. We move intercept 1 hex to 1506. Expending 1 fuel point and adjusting the track marker. Fuel level is now 14, okay? So just glancing over at the sequence of play. That's why I thought we had skipped by this bit, because it says US air operations. I thought it was jumping down to here. But no, we're going to move air missions and adjust fuel markers. So, and as it says, intercept 1 is going to move 1 hex and right in and beside the Guam air raid. That is going to just be 1 fuel point. So yeah, it's down to 14. Okay. So intercept 2 is leaving its status as combat air patrol and being placed on the map to become a normal intercept mission. So we have to use the intercept fuel level table to determine its initial fuel state. We roll a 1, giving initial fuel level 10. So we place the fuel marker on its plus 10 side in the 0 box on the track. We then move intercept 2 to meet the raid. Our first hex of movement costs 1 fuel point. For the second, we have to roll a die and a roll of 6. The second hex costs 2 points, so it costs a total of 3 fuel points to move the 2 hexes. Mission is down to fuel level 7. See figure 6 below. So I'll go through that first. So basically what I want to do is bring our cap mission out. So it's intercept 2. So we're going to bring it out, and obviously it comes out the task force. It takes off from the task force. Well, actually, it takes off. I don't know. I'm not quite sure what state. I think it's maybe hovering about or just around the carrier. So now we need to adjust its fuel, or like set its fuel. And like it said, it had a poor roll. And this is not one that you check what's in the, I think what's in the actual mission, because it would be 316s that we would get 16 again, but it doesn't work that way because it's a CAP mission, and I think that's the case. I think it's maybe circling around the carrier, so it's burning some fuel, so you don't know. It's a random sort of fuel you're going to get. And that's the little table there that we check, and I think it says we rolled a 1, doesn't it? So this is the interception fuel level table. So we rolled a 1. So unfortunately, his initial fuel started with a 10. You can see the most you could get is 14 with that. So we set it at 10. So it's on its 10 side, but just down on the 0. So that's how it starts off. Then what do we do? So yeah, then we want to actually move it, and we want to move it onto the Guam raid as well. So we move it 1 hex. That costs 1 fuel. So let me knock my fuel down now to 9. And then we want to move the second hex as well, which you're allowed to do. And then that's a random. Is that not on that table as well? Yeah, it is. Hang on. So there it's there. There's the fuel expenditure summary. So move 0 to 1 and 0 to 1 hexes. You can't just hover about without spending fuel. You can decide not to move a hex. But if you've got air missions out there and they just sit there and do nothing, they still spend 1 fuel. So we've spent the 1 fuel to move 1 hex, and if we want to move an extra hex, it's either going to be 2 fuel points if we roll a die roll of 1 to 5, or 3 fuel points in total if we roll a 6 to 10. So it's a 50-50 chance, but it's you moving that extra hex, which sometimes for speed, you want to do it. In this case, we do want to do it because it allows us to reach the Guam air raid hex, so it makes sense. Yeah, so our first hex of movement costs 1 fuel point. The second, we have to roll a die, and on a roll of 6, the second hex costs 2 points. So it's went 6 to 10. So the total cost is 3 fuel points to move 2 hexes. The mission is now down to 7 fuel. Yeah, so I moved that fuel point first. I don't think I would have done it that way. It's just the way it was talking about it, but I don't think it done it that way either. So we should have been at 10, and we just spent 3 fuel points, 9, 8, 7, to move 2 hexes. We might have been able to just spend two fuel points to do it if the die had been kinder to us. So that's it, and see figure 6 below. So that's the situation. There's the task force, there's a Guam air raid with our 2 intercept missions actually in that hex. Okay, so then we move on, and it says there is no search segment in this action phase, as we did our once per turn search operations in the first action phase. Oh, there you go then. Ah, yeah. That whole phase is once per turn. So that's one that would have caught me out as well then. I thought it was just the launch of the actual search. No. I kind of thought you still moved them. Or am I talking rubbish? No, I did. I think I did mess that up. So there's no search segment at all because we done it once. It's a once per turn, and we done it in the first action phase. So yeah, so you don't actually get to launch anymore search aircraft, you don't get to move your air searches, and you don't get to search. Okay. Ah, right, okay, well that was, I was making that much easier than before. So there you go. Right, our moves to intercept the Guam raid left our carriers with no combat air patrol. So we launch, right, hang on, where are we now? We're moving into air operations, aren't we? Yeah. So that was our movement, and like it says, that whole segment there is once per turn. I don't think I got that right when I played the training scenario. So now we're into air operations, and then the first step is launch, okay, which I think is going to launch a CAP, Combat Air Patrol here. Yeah, so our moves to intercept the Guam raid left our carriers with no combat air patrol, so we launched the 3 ready fighters from Enterprise Lexington and San Jacinto, that sounds wrong, to form Mission Intercept 3, placing it in the cat box. We also move, well, let's do that first. So, Enterprise, yeah, so he's coming out. Lexington and San Jacinto. Sure, that's not how it's pronounced, but actually it's spelt differently there. Unless it's a misprint in the rule book. Or maybe that's the pronunciation of it. Maybe it is right. Anyway, to form Mission Intercept 3, placing it in the cat box. So what we do is we put the 3 F6Fs in here. Air Mission 3. And Intercept 3 goes in, well, like I said before, I think this can go in either. It doesn't need to go in the cap. I mean, that kind of surprises me, but I suppose they're flying around the sort of whole task force, if you like. But I seem to suggest that I could put that, I could put it in that box, I think. I seem to suggest that from the first time. But anyway, we'll put it there, placing it in the cat box. We also moved the fighter planes in servicing, right? So now we're moving on a step again. So that was our launch. So now we're going to go from servicing to ready. And it's going to move, I'm just reading this from the part rather than jump back. We also moved the fighter planes in servicing on Hornet. Where's Hornet? It's up here. So the fighter planes from servicing, that's one of the night ones. I think I separated them. They're bombers. They're, or what is it called? The fighters and attack aircraft, aren't they? I think that's how they're. So to the flight deck. So we can move 2 of these. Oh no, hang on, sorry. I'm jumping the gun. That's the servicing grant. So that moves to the flight deck. So that one from Hornet and then Yorktown, that moves to the flight deck. Yeah. And then Bunker Hill and Wasp. So Bunker Hill is here. So we're moving him up and then him up. That's right. Okay. This is taking a severe chance as the carriers will be much more vulnerable this way if the Guam strike gets through. We are relying on our fighters plus anti-aircraft fire to stop them. And yeah, this is what I was saying. I did read about the fact that you don't want your aircraft up top while there's a chance of an airstrike coming in, an air raid from the Japanese, because, well, you can imagine. And I want to say that, yeah, this is a bit. If they're in servicing as well, there's a chance if there's damage done there, they're full, when they're in servicing, they're full of fuel. So I think that's the issue with having them in there as well, which I think we might read about later or find out about. But obviously when they're up on deck, and if that air raid was to get through, it would be kind of bad. We'd lose our planes, make a mess of the runway, I guess, and all that. So we're relying on our fighters plus our anti-aircraft fire to stop them. Right, okay. Okay, so it seems again it's not moving anything from the hangars to servicing. Like I said, I think that risk of having fueled up planes in the servicing part is risky. So next is US interception segment. So, this jumping about is more work than I thought it was going to be. So we've skipped by the rest of that stuff. We're not hangar to servicing or landing. So US interception, so we've got air-to-air combat first. So our 2 intercept missions intercept the Guam raid independently. So they're going to do both separately. First we use a Japanese escort fighter table to determine how many of the 7 air points are actually escorts. Right, so this is the table here that we want to find out. Yeah, it says US. No, why does it not tell you what happens? I think what this means is whatever we roll, that's the amount of fighters we get. The rest are attack planes. Yeah, it doesn't actually tell you there, but well, let's look. Let's carry on. So it says a die roll of 3 results in 1 escort, 6 attack planes. So we separate their points accordingly in the Guam raid box. So would that have been right if we rolled a result of 3? Raid size, not... Oh, yeah. Well, it's a raid size 7. Raid size 7, we rolled a 3. Yeah, so we can't go up to 8. Whenever you can't go right up to a number, you go to the previous number. So it's 6 we'd have to go to. And the die roll was a 3. So it tells us there's 1 fighter, which means that whatever's left is going to be attack planes. So then up here, stretching up, all these are attack planes, the other 6, and then there's 1 fighter. But we're about to start trying to deal with them now anyway. Okay, so Intercept 1 engages the raid. It must immediately pay 3 fuel points. Fuel level is now 11. Okay. So he's got to pay 3 fuel. 1, 2, 3, down to 11. And this is Intercept Mission Air Raid 1. Sorry. This is Air Intercept Mission 1. So what are we fighting against? Okay. I think this is something that they could have added some kind of sort of battle table or some kind of wee sheet that you put out. I'm sure some folk will come up with something like that where you're going to lay these out, because we're fighting against this. That's the fighter point, and these are the attack planes. So we separate them like that. I'm just putting them on the map just now, and we want Air Intercept Mission 1. So that's the one that's involved, and then we're going to grab. It's got 3 fighters, and it's Intercept Mission. So, and we have to, like it says here, we have to engage 1 point on... We need, for each 2 air that they have, we need 1 fighter. So we need to assign 1 fighter at least to that. Right? Now, what does it say it does? So one of the fighters must engage the Japanese escort, and we choose to have the other 2 engage the attack planes. Okay. So that's taking a bit of a risk. I probably would have put 2 of them on that just to make sure we got rid of that guy. However, maybe not, because there is a lot of these, so maybe that is wiser. Okay, so yeah, all the fighter stuff is resolved first. So it says the battle versus the escort is resolved first. Each side has its own air-air table. Right. So there's the 2 tables. Now we're using 1 aircraft, so we're going to be, this is our table. We're going to be rolling on that 1 column, so you can see that we need a high roll to get a result. And he's going to fire back with 1 air point, so he's going to be rolling on the 1 table here as well. However, the modifiers are better, I think, for us here. No, it's actually going to balance out, isn't it? Because we're going to have target as a fighter, that gives a -1 to us. But it's a land aircraft, so that gives a +1. So we're going to be rolling on a 0 modifier. And when he comes to roll, attack planes with no escorts, no. I think he's going to get a -1 because he's land there. So I think he gets a -1 where we're rolling at a 0. Well, let's see what happens. Right, where are we? Right, each side has its own air table. For our 1 unit on the US air table, we roll a 4, adding a +1 because target is land there, for a total of 5. Well, that's wrong, is it not? Because he should get the -1 as well, because target is a fighter. We roll 4, adding +1, target is land for a total of 5, which is no effect. Well, it's going to be no effect anyway, but to me, that's a bit of an error, I think. Not that I'm wanting to start calling things out yet. Because the target is a fighter, whether he's land or not. References 5.42 and 10.13. Let me have a look at them. No, I can't see anything there. I thought maybe because they were land aircraft that there might have been something that stops that modifier, but I think that's a mistake. I think we should be getting a -1 and a +1 to that. I don't see, there's a couple of pages of errata there that I printed out. I don't see anything in there regarding that. So, however, whether it was what their result was a 5, to me I think it should be a 4, but on the one column you can see that it's a 0 anyway. Okay, and then for the single Japanese escort point, we roll a 0, treated as a 10. Okay, subtracting 1 because the firing unit is land, air. An A result which allows this point to shoot at the 2 fighters we allocated against the attack planes. Okay, let's look at that first. So they were on the 1 column as well, just 1 land air point. And like I said, they got a -1 because they're land air. But they rolled a 10, which became a 9, which became an A result. So A versus attack. No, it's A versus intercept along here. So it says one surviving escort can attack US fighters. One surviving escort can attack US fighters allocated versus attack planes. One surviving escort. Hang on, am I reading that wrong? Give me a second. Yeah, sorry, I'm just not reading that and getting it right. That is right. So, against intercept. So, their one surviving escort will be able to now attack the US fighters that we allocated to their attack planes. So what that means is we fired at him, and fire here is simultaneous as well. So if we knocked that out, he still gets to fire back before he's removed. But we didn't hit him. Okay, so he hit us back with an A result, which doesn't do anything to this guy. But what it now means is this fighter point can now come along and make an attack on these two before they get to attack on these bombers, on these attack planes. So that's why we need to do another roll. So it deals with it here. So an A result which allows this point to shoot at the 2 fighters we allocated against attack planes. For this attack, we roll another 9, which prevents one of our 2 fighters from pressing home its attack. Which prevents one of our 2 fighters. We roll for the remaining one and get another 6. Again, no effect. Right, let's quickly go over that. So it rolled another 9. So it's one aircraft that was now able to go and attack our fighters that were attacking his attack planes, rolled a 9, which then turned into an abort result as well. Now, again, he should have been, well, he says a 9 result, but it should have got a -1 again, but that would have been an 8, or whether it just meant he rolled a 10 and reduced it by 1. However, it was an A result anyway, which would have meant that against so this is against attack, isn't it? Result A versus attack. So one attacking unit aborted. Yeah. So that's what that roll for this attack. We roll a 9, which prevents one of our 2 fighters from pressing home its attack. Yeah. Because that is now against attack rather than intercept, I think. Yeah, one attacking unit aborted. Okay. So what that then means is his fire on these two aborted one of these, so it means this goes away. I just put that back up in Air Mission 1. It's not destroyed or anything like that, but it's removed from the battle here against these attack planes. So this fighter now attacks, and what was it, he rolled a 6 or something, wasn't it? We roll for the remaining 1, because there's only 1, we got a 6, which is no effect. Again, this would have been a +1, -1 in my opinion anyway, but rolled a 6, sorry, on the 1 column rolled a 6, which would have been a 0, whereas if he had the 2 fighters, which he originally had, a 6, you could see would have done 1, would have damaged 1 of the rare points. So not to be. And what else was I going to say there? I can't remember. Maybe it'll come to us. So that's their intercept mission finished. So these other 2 then return. They return to their air mission, but that's them done their thing. They've got to then now fly back. Well, actually, I'm saying they have to fly back. They don't actually have to do that, could they? They could move. Well, I think he gets to move 2 anyway, doesn't he? So that should be back in that hex. However, we're going to go for now intercept 2. So that's going to come out now. Intercept 2 then engages. Things go a little better, but only a little, it says. Right. So we get our 3. Again, there's only 3 aircraft. So we've got to decide what we're doing with the 3. What's going for what. So let's see what they do. Intercept 2 then engages. We succeed in destroying 1 point of the attacking aircraft. Okay, it's been a bit more brief. It's not really describing what was allocated where. We succeed in destroying 1 point of the attacking aircraft. This is placed in the lost box of the Guam air display. Intercept 2 pays its required 3 fuel points and is down to 4. So that's it's kind of not giving you the whole battle there, really. I guess it's just speeding things up. So we did take out the fighter point, so that goes up here in the losses box. Lost there. However, it still has its 3 attack planes, and that must have been the end of that for them. So then I go back. That goes back to there, but they did have to spend 3 fuel. So stretching up there, you can see they were on 7, 1, 2, 3. So down to 4, was that right? Down to 4, yes. Okay, and there's a little example of what's what. We've got 1 land air point in there. This one's down to 11 fuel, and this one's down to 4 fuel. That's right, that's what I'm showing. Okay. So I'll move on with third action phase. Well, I have time, yeah. It looks like I'm going to have to split this into 3 videos. Hopefully just 3. We'll see. I'll only get this bit done tonight though. So right, moving on. Action phase 3. The third action phase begins with the Japanese air movement segment. So we move back up to the top. Japanese air movement. We move all across to action phase number 3. I'm just moving that off camera. The Guam raid moves 2 hexes, bring it into TF-58's own hex. So, yeah, it's got to move. Now, you can see I've still got the land there. They should be up in the Guam air raid box. I'll just leave them down here just now. So this gets to move 2 hexes, and it can move 2 hexes, so it's going to move right on top of us. Okay, so yeah, that's that bit. So that was the. Actually, I'm going to put the land there back in the raid box. Keep it nice. So that was the Japanese air movement. So then activation roll for mission movement. Excuse me. So they roll the dice and they get a 2 this time. So I'll just put that out on the map. And then we move on to drawn chits. Draw sequence chits. So this time out of the cup, they draw rolling mission 2. Chits drawn are for forces D, E, and F. Right, so I'm assuming they come out in that order, and like I say, we should do them separately, as in D, we do that first, then we draw another chit, and we get E, then we draw another chit, and we get F. But I guess this is just to show you how it goes. So, according to the die roll of 2 and their respective compasses, this brings force D into hex 1818, force E into hex 816, and force F into hex 613. Right, let's have a look. So I mean, firstly, we should be checking for air raid possibilities, but I'm assuming they're out of range. Again, we need to be, what was it? 5 hexes? Yeah, 5. At 5:30 in the morning, it's 5 hexes. So D, E, and F. Well, you can see F's up there to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, he's too far away. D is even further away. He's away back here. And E is far away as well. So that's why they're not even looking at it. So D, well, assuming they came out of the cup that way, let's do it properly. So he's, and we rolled a 2. So a 2 is northeast. So he moves to 1818. Is that right? Yeah, and then E on a 2 is going to move that way. Now he sees he's moving it in a different zone there, so now he'll use that compass rather than that one. So he moved into 0816. That's right, and then force F goes into, where's F? Here. On a 2, he's going east, which is 0613. That's right. Okay. So US air movement segment comes next. So that was us moved right through that. Move all air missions. Okay. So we've got 2 intercept missions out there. We do have a CAP mission as well. Is that right? No, we've got 2 CAP missions. No, we got a CAP mission. Yeah. So, we have a choice to make. Because the first 2 intercept missions are getting low on fuel, and in particular the second one's only got 4 fuel left, the first one's got 11, which isn't too bad. And it's not that they're far from the task force, you know. But anyway, let's see what they do. Sorry, I should come back down here. We'll read it. Getting low on fuel, and another air-to-air combat will push them close to the brink. But we need to protect the carriers, so we return them both to Task Force 58's hex. Yeah, I suppose getting there, because they're going to have to move 2 hexes each. They each burn 3 more fuel points in doing so. Intercept 1 is at fuel level 8, Intercept 2 is down to just 1. So yeah, I mean, you don't want this air raid over this task force, so we're needing to do something about it. So they both move 2 hexes, right, and with the fuel, it both turned into, they must have rolled poorly again. Rather than costing them 2 fuel to move the 2 hexes, it cost them 3. So that's 1, 2, 3. And then 1, 2, 3. He's only got 1 fuel left. So, and then remember, if he's going to attack, it's going to cost him another 3. So, right. So again, moving on. There's no surge segment in this action phase, as we did our once per turn search operations in the first action phase of the turn. That's why I'm really glad I've done this. There's 2 or 3 things just came up already that I was clearly not quite reading right, and that was one of them. So we need to clear room on flight decks to allow our 2 intercept missions to land. So we launch the fighters ready on Hornet, Yorktown, Bunker Hill and Wasp to form 1 more intercept mission, Intercept 4. We place this in TF-58's hex. Its fuel level is 16. We also launch a strike mission. Okay, let's do that first and come back to the strike mission. And yeah, where are we? So we skipped the search bit, we've done that already, so it's air operations again, so we're at launch. So it's going to launch another air mission. Zoom out, I think. It was Hornet, Yorktown, Bunker Hill and Wasp. So they're already up in the flight decks. Hornet, Yorktown, it was Bunker Hill and Wasp. So yeah, all the 4 F-16s, F-16s, F-6Fs are going to become Air Mission 4 intercept mission. So they go in there. The fuel gets set at 16 with them because this isn't a cap one, so we get set that at 16, and then that goes in beside our task force as well, where remember the Guam air raid is as well. So that's another reason he's saying clear the deck so that the other ones can land. But right, so what else is going to do? So we also launch a strike mission, Airstrike 5. Ah, damn. Oh, damaged that counter. I've spilt something on it. Oh, that's not nice. I spilt a bit of my drink on it, I think. Look. I don't know if you can see it right or not. It's all a bit yucky. It'll maybe dry out a bit, but even still. Right, anyway. Intercept mission 5. Oh, this is an airstrike. Sorry, that's not what the one I want. I want Airstrike 5, don't I? Right, I don't have that. So give me a second. Yeah, it's that one I want, isn't it? Airstrike 5. So with the attack planes that were ready on Bellewood, Monterey, and also one F-6F from Princeton, just in case the strike goes somewhere. Yeah, that's right, because we can't target anywhere because we've not got anything identified. There's nothing out there that says we can launch a strike. I think that's what it's going to tell us here. Right now, the strike mission has nothing to attack and therefore must remain within 2 X's of TF-58. Yeah, this is one you can maybe get caught out a little. I noticed Dave, when he was doing his playthrough, got a bit carried away because what was it, one of the carrier, well, he hadn't spotted it yet, but I had launched a raid, but he thought he could then fly towards that. But you can't do that until you've actually identified that it is a so anyway, we're not allowed to send out strikes speculatively. We move the raid to hex 1409, spending 1 fuel point for a fuel level of 13. The flight decks in TG 58.1 and 58.2 are now clear. What you've got to remember here though is that if you launched planes from these, and wait a second. Right, let's get this airstrike up first anyway. So what was it? It was Airstrike 5. So and I've got the airstrike counter. So it'll start in here. I think it's going to move when it launches. So air mission 5, and what was it taking it from? Attack planes Bellewood and Monterey. Where are they? Bellewood. That's not an attack plane. Ah, yeah, it is an attack plane. See, there you go. The terminology I'm thinking about it is. This is an attack plane. It's not a fighter. So these are bombers. I don't know. I mean, bombers might have been the wrong word to call them, but I think it would have. I don't know. For me, anyway. So these two are part of mission 5, and there was also a fighter, wasn't there? And also one F-6F from Princeton. Princeton, where's that? Where's it's here. It's down here. So this one as well is going to be part of that. Oh, actually separate them just to show that they're one's a fighter and two are attack planes. Yes. Yeah. And because there's nothing that we've got a target for, it can't move more than 2 hexes away from the actual the task force. Well, let's say his fuel first. His fuel's going to be 14 because the TBMs have got a 14 rather than we can't take the 16. So you've got to take the lower of the two. So it's going to be a 14. However, it does move it 1, so we're going to finish on 13. So let's see where he's going to move it again. I'm just looking across here. It says we move the raid to hex 1409, expending 1 fuel point. So 1409, so he's just moving it here. And he can't move it with any more than 2 hexes from the task force until we've actually got a target that we can go and fly towards. And the whole point of these search planes are hopefully going to find something for them go and get after. So now it says the flight decks in TG 58-1 and 58-2 are now clear. So just these two are clear. However, if he's talking about landing and stuff just now, oh, he's not. Yeah, because when you take off from these flight decks, although they're clear, we can't. Is that right? We can't land also. But then land comes later, Grant. Can you not still land if they've took off? No, I didn't think you could do that. Give me a sec. Yeah, I think this chart is what tells you. It says launch or land, not both. So yeah, I think it's all because it's happening in the one sort of bit. I mean, it's kind of not, because if you look, I know it's a bit of a stretch along there. There's where we would launch, and then we would raise some stuff and hang out, and then we would land. But you know, if the flight deck's clear, is that not? But then again, maybe not. Yeah, I don't think we can land on these if things have taken off from them. I can't remember what all took off. It's from each individual flight deck, so we could have maybe landed something here if nothing had taken off from it. However, we're not going to do that, but it's just making a point of saying that we've got the flight decks clear now. Right, let's move on and get this part finished, Grant. I can come back and finish this in the morning and maybe start thinking about trying my own take on it. I might be copying bits that I've seen right now. That's the only thing that kind of worries me. I thought, that looked good. But it's all going to be dice rolls, chits drawn out a cup, random things are going to be different. You know, it's not going to be the same. It's going to be a totally different game. Right, so now comes US interception. Including the cap, we have 4 different intercept. Yeah, we haven't put the cap in play yet, but yeah, this is where we would do it, isn't it? Is that right? So is it in the air combat bit that you do the cap then? 4.5. Yeah, because I don't think it is launched. It's up there, sort of just hovering about. Well, not hovering about, but mission which cannot, for a cap mission placed on the map, the 3 points are deducted after determining. Yeah. I'm not kind of finding that a bit clearer than I thought I would. Well, let's just read on. Let's just see what it does. It's going to be doing the right things. So, now comes US, including the CAP, we have 4 different intercept missions and TF-58's hex. Right, that's including the CAP. Yes, okay. Note, as this hex often gets crowded, there is a holding... where's that? There's a holding box for it on the map sheet. Task Force 50 in the hex. Yeah, okay, I never noticed that one. That's good then. We aren't required to use them, but we have to make all interception decisions before we roll any dice. Would we have to decide... Well, I suppose you'd have to decide if the CAP was being involved, yeah. Nothing else is in sight yet, so we commit them all. The resolution works out like this. Okay, rather than... It's kind of making things a bit briefer here. But just let me look... Sorry. That's a little box there, I think. So, like he says, this gets a bit crowded. So, 1, 2, 3... I'm assuming the CAP mission is coming along then. Well, what fuel is it? Does it tell you? Intercept 1, 2, 3, and 4. Actually, maybe it doesn't use the CAP then. No. That would be intercept mission 3. Yeah, actually, okay. Right, it does give you a bit sort of a story of what happens. That's the outcome, right? But let's have a look at this bit, I think. Sorry, I'm getting some glare in there now. How am I getting that? Is that dropped down? Right, I'll just have to do... Each of the intercept mission uses up 3 fuel points, right? In the case of intercept 2, this puts the mission at fuel critical level 2. Okay, so yeah, let's look at their fuel. So they're committing them all, and you can see we've got 1, 2, and this one's not set as fuel yet, and then 3, which is 3 and 4. This is an airstrike. This is a different mission. That's not involved. So they each spend 3. So he spends 1, 2, 3. Now let's just deal with this guy first and all. 1, 2, 3, right? And then, hang on. Don't they need to spend 1 also because they're not moving? Yeah, we would have to spend 1 because, to be honest, this is just the... No, it's not. We must have moved our air missions. Yeah, we've done that, Grant. Right, sorry, I'm getting lost. We had already moved them. Yeah, okay. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then this guy goes 1, and then becomes fuel critical, and then goes back up the way. 2, oops, that one. 2, 3. So he's now at a fuel critical level of 2. If he reaches that, he's eliminated, right? And all between in there, it's difficult for him. He's going to get negative modifiers. He's going to find it harder to land, etc. So, he probably wants to be landing after this battle for sure. I'm sure that's what will happen. Right. So, yeah, jumping back here. So, each intercept mission uses up 3 fuel points. In the case of intercept 2, this puts the mission at fuel critical level 2, like I just said. This will entail the chance of operational losses determined at the time of landing. If we reach fuel critical 7, units are eliminated. Intercept 1 is at fuel level 5. Yep. Intercept 3 didn't have a fuel level yet, as we committed it to combat from the CAP box. We roll for its fuel level, as we did the other CAP mission, and we roll a 3 for initial fuel level of 11 on the interception fuel level table. From this, we immediately deduct the 3 points for air combat just fought, leaving the mission at fuel level 8. So he is at 8, and have I put his marker in there? No, he's on the cap bit, isn't he? So he's involved as well. So they're all in there. We've got 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, Intercept 4 had just been launched into TF-58's Hex, paying 3 fuel points for combat Lehman at fuel level 13. That's correct, yes. Okay, so it's now then going to proceed. So let's see what the outcome were of the fights, the combat. You can see that Intercept Mission 1 had 1 fighter versus the escort. Right, its die roll was 5. It got a +1 and a -1. It was given at that time then. It didn't give that -1 the last time, did it? So I had a die roll of 5, which was no effect, which left 6 air points left in the raid still. Oh yeah, because there's not any fighters, is there? Well, why is he getting that? He shouldn't be getting that modifier now. Hang on, what am I missing? Fighter versus escort. Yeah, that's weird because he shouldn't be getting this now. He's not attacking a fighter. There's no fighters. There was 6 points of air raid left, which you can see it ends up there. So that actually should have been a die roll of 5, die roll of 6 then on the 1 column. Would have still been a 0. Okay. Why has he only got 1 fighter? He's got 3 fighters in the. He's got 3 fighters. Why is he only showing 1? Right, hang on. It's showing he's got an escort still. That's the problem. His escort was destroyed, wasn't it? Oh, you know what? I don't think it was. I think I've got that wrong. Was it not the other way about? Well, hang on. Yeah, I'm actually reading it wrong. I'm just going back here to look at the combat. And again, it's the terminology that's just throwing me. Intercept 2 then engages. Things go a little better, but only a little. We succeed in destroying 1 point of the attacking aircraft. And again, I'm just thinking that was the fighter, but it's not. This is placed in the lost box of the Guam air display. Intercept 2 pays its required. Yeah, so I've got that wrong, so hang on. So in actual fact, up there, what was lost was 1 of the... So that should still be there. I need to make change, don't I? No, another 1. There's 1. Right, so 1 of these was lost. Actually, I need another 1, don't I? Oh, come on. There's 1. Right, okay. So there's 5 attacking aircraft and 1 fighter. Okay. Right, that makes sense to what follows then. Yeah, so basically there's 1 fighter. We put, out of our 3 fighters, we put 1 against that escort. We roll a 5. We get a +1 for being land there, a -1 for being a fighter. Like I say, they missed that one the last time. So it turns out to be a 5, which is no effect. So there's still 6 air points left in the raid, 5 of which are attacking aircraft. So then the other 2 escorts Sorry. No, this is the escort fighting back, our US fighter. He rolls a 7. This is a Japanese fighter rolling back. Wait a minute. Let's see if I can make this. That's him. And we've got 3 in our raid. Right? So we've got 3. This is intercept 1. And they've got 1 escort and they've got 5 attack aircraft. 5 bombers. Right, so we assign this initial one. We assign 1 fighter. We've got to assign at least 1. That's all we decide to do. And obviously these are assigned against that, right? So we deal with this first. We fight this. We roll poorly against him. He then rolls back with a 7 against us. So a -1 because he's land. That has no effect as well. So then we move on to this, and we have our 2 fighters versus the attack planes, right? And there's like 5 of them, and we roll a 3. We get +1 because we're against land air. There's no fighters involved this time, so that is a 4 on the 2 column, which you can see up the top there. A 4 on the 2 column, you can see is a 1. Yeah. So that is one shot down. So 1 of these gets shot down, leaving them with 4. So then that's intercept 1 done its thing. And then they've still got this 1 air, 1 fighter and 2 attack. That other point's been lost. So then we bring down air mission 2, and that's 3 fighters as well. Now, yeah, you have to commit at first and spend your fuel about what you're all using. After that, I wondered if you had to commit how many aircraft to the actual thing, but these are individual fights within the intercept, within the intercept missions. At least I think that's my interpretation of it. So we go on in intercept mission 2, and we again assign just 1 fighter to that escort, like that. This time we roll an 8. Oops, move that out of the way. This time we roll an 8. It's -1 because we're fighting a fighter. Why we're not getting the +1 again for being land, I don't know, but we should be getting the +1 again there. Anyway, so the escort is now destroyed, but however, before he's destroyed, he gets to fight back, and that's what this is. So it's like escort versus US fighter. He rolls a 6. He gets a -1 for being land. That has no effect. So he's now removed. And that fighter's done his thing, so he's now back in the air mission box. And then we've got these 2. We then move on to 2 fighters versus 2 attack planes. That's our 2 fighters. And, sorry, not 2 attack planes, it's a strength of 4 attack planes. So we got a poor roll of a 2, +1 land air. That's no effect, so still 4 left. These then go away. And we're going to bring in mission 3, which again is 3 fighters. But this time we've not got any escorts to try and fight against. So we're just 3 fighters against all the escorts. Oh, against the attack planes. 3 fighters versus attack planes, there's no escort remains. We roll a 1, that's handy. We get a +1, which is again no effect. So that's mission 3, intercept mission 3 done. And then intercept mission 4, which was the cap. Was that the cap mission? Yeah, he's actually got 4 fighters. Oh no, was that the new one? No, it can't be a cap because that was intercept mission 3 was a cap. The one we just done. You can only have 3 as a cap. So 4 fighters versus attack planes, no escorts remain. We roll a 1 again come on. +1, so no effect again. So yeah, we kind of, I guess I maybe want to show you some bombing. I think I wouldn't be happy up to now if that's what my result had been. So it's still got 4 points of attack aircraft in the Guam air raid. Okay. And I know that's a kind of rotten place to leave it. I'm just looking at it's going to take another little bit just to go through this, because I want to go through it slowly and make sure, because some of them are going to get hit by anti-aircraft, and it looks like some of them are actually going to attack some of our carriers. So I'm going to just leave it there for the night. I'll come back to here now. We now proceed to the Japanese air attack segment. That's where I'm going to be coming back to. Let's just chuck a wee marker down there to remind me. Yeah, because it has got a bit late after all. So, okay, but yeah, I'm enjoying seeing how this plays out. Obviously, this is set up to make it look, some terrible dice rolls there at the end, but hopefully I can start rolling the dice myself and, well, getting some of the terrible dice rolls as well. Right, so I'm going to come back tomorrow and hopefully finish this with one more part. I'll do my best to do that, because we are, yeah, I don't know. I could probably drag it out in our 2 parts, because I want to go through it carefully myself. I do. I want to do it slowly, and it's maybe going to bring some other things in shortly as well. So, yeah, I shouldn't rush it really. So, right, okay, I'll be back tomorrow. Cheers.